So let's apply what we've learned about coordinate planes to the real world. The captain of a ship has a chart to help him navigate through the islands. He must follow points that show the deepest part of the channel. List the coordinates that the captain needs to follow in the order that he will encounter them. So we see the ship right here. The way he's going to encounter this channel, he's going to follow this orange line, right? So he's going to go in a certain order. We also have to remember that coordinates are in the order pair of x, y. So before we start solving for all of those points, 1 through 6, I have to remember that my x coordinate is horizontal from the 0 all the way across from there. That's going to be my x-axis. And then my y-axis is going to start back from that 0, but it's going to go vertical straight up all the way to the 10. That is my y-axis. So if I was the captain of the ship, the first point that I'm going to stop at is right here with the orange arrow. And I'm going to go ahead and call that point 1. Right, that lines up with the point 1 on my question. So at point 1, I want to go ahead and see where that point lines up with my x and my y axis. As you can see, I drew some black dashed lines from that point going all the way down to the 5. It's hitting the blue line at the 5. And then it's also hitting the green line between 1 and 2, so I'm calling that 1.5. So my x coordinate is 5 and my y coordinate is 1.5. I know that 5 looks like an S, but it's a 5. And then the next point on my journey from 1 is going up to point 2. So that next point, we're calling it point 2. I already drew the dashed dotted lines that are going from point 2 down to the y-axis. So along that blue highlighted line, it's hitting between the 3 and the 4. So that's going to be point 3.5. And then along the green line, the y-axis, point 2 is actually stopping right at the 3. So that coordinate pair is going to be 3.5, 3. That coordinate pair is going to be 3.5, 3. So point 3, as labeled on the chart, already has the black dotted lines. That point is hitting the x-axis, that blue line, at 2. And then it is hitting that y-axis, that green line, at 4.5. So we already have our first 3 coordinate pairs. Number 1 was 5, 1.5. Number 2 was 3.5, 3. And number 3 was 2, 4.5. Now let's do the next 2 islands. So point 4 already has the black dotted lines. We can see that point 4 hits the x-axis right here at 4. And the y-axis right there at 6. So that coordinate pair would be 4, 6. That coordinate pair would be 4, 6. Point 5, the captain of the ship is almost navigated through all the deepest parts of the channel. We see the black dotted lines are already there. The black dotted line intersects with the x-axis right here at 5.5, between 5 and 6. And with the y-axis, he's hitting the y-axis between 7 and 8, so that point is 7.5. So on my coordinate pair is going to be 5.5, 7.5. And on to the last point. And here is the last point in the channel. So point 6 hits the x-axis at 7.5, right between 7 and 8. And then it hits the y-axis right there at 9. So our last point is going to be 7.59. 7.59. Please make sure that you have internalized this work. Here goes the 6 coordinate points. Now it's your turn.